Good afternoon. It is an honor to be here at this Biophilia Award celebration, and it is a great pleasure to have the opportunity to make a short comment as a laudatio. That's as it states in its name, it's the praise of a person at a solemn event. This person today is Professor Ursula Heise. I would like to start with a little bit of broader context, maybe universal context, to make my laudatio. As you might remember, around 66 million years ago, not because you were here 66 million years, but you've heard or read that in that time our planet was decorated by an exuberant biodiversity dominated by a bestiary formidable of reptiles. In an ecologic theater in the planet were actors and actresses, the main roles were played by dinosaurs. But in that geological moment of the life of the planet, a meteorite, impertinent maybe, coming from outer space, at a very fast speed, collided with the Earth in the Yucatan Peninsula close to Chicxulub. The consequences of that cataclysm are multiple, and let me refer to three aspects that connect us to this celebration today. On the one side, this catastrophe led to the extinction of the dominating animals, reptiles, with the exception of one of their evolution lineages that post-extinction has exploded in evolution and is represented by more than 10,000 species of birds that are in our planet today. And you will see this is significant in our laudatio because birds represent a major factor in the academic life of the awardee. It's a secret that you will see with a greater detail afterwards. That catastrophe, with the absence of dinosaurs, opened the space to the evolution of birds, but also it opened space for the people, for more mammals that were related and oppressed, dominated by reptiles, to grow. That was a small group of mammals that also, once released ecologically by the absence of dinosaurs, exploded. And even today, we've got at least 5,500 species of mammals. And in that group of mammals that evolved after that catastrophe, and such a curiosity, the group of mammals led to species that you know very well, which is the Homo sapiens. If we hadn't had that specific situation of that meteorite colliding at the Yucatan Peninsula, you can imagine that the Earth rotates. If the meteorite had come later on, maybe it would have collided in the ocean and it would have led to the massive extinction, and birds would not be here, and we might not be here neither. Just a real chance. It's a transition that happened from dinosaurs to a world dominated by birds and mammals. But this diversification of birds and mammals was not the only thing that happened. In reality, together with that, we had an explosion, uncontrolled explosion of the diversification of the biology of the planet. In fact, some scientists say that today we have such a huge diversity in the planet, even more than ever before in the 4 billion years of the life of in this planet. And this represents a cosmic privilege for us to coincide in the planet when the planet has got the highest diversification of biology. It's an incredible privilege, but as you know, at the same time, it's a problem which is of paramount importance because, unfortunately, our planet is really diversified and is being impacted by these Homo sapien species. Today, that biological treasure that took so long to get to the stage that we are when we had the massive extinction of dinosaurs and has diversified the biology greatly. And that great richness is being impacted by the human activity. In order to understand this kind of complex situations, you need to express differently. You have to link differently. You have to have a different narrative, which is the topic that the doctor has been working on. This field where science combines with communication, with history, culture. It is a fact which is of paramount importance because, as you know, scientists, we haven't been trained to communicate so that we can have a repercussion in the imaginary of the peoples. So such an important task is what has Professor Heise developed. And I think that it is impossible for us scientists to have a major change in our line of thought, in reflection, and when devoting ourselves to protect what is left in our planet if we don't have a vision complementing what this means from the stance of culture. The cultural significance of these events needs to be presented and shared in an efficient, attractive way, and even moving way for the local societies, but also for global societies. And this is one of the elements of what environmental humanities, what she lectures, and she has been doing it excellently. And let me quote her to conclude my presentation. Processes, risks, and crises of the environment are not only a matter of science and technology, but they have to do with the society, culture, the history, and values. If you have a minute to think about how deep that message is, you will see how tremendously important is for our vision and our obligation to keep and have a planet that may continue. During her academic track record, Professor has explored how different traditions have had a vision and a thought about nature reflected in the different languages and cultures, and how they influence importantly to when facing the challenges of the environment that we have today. It is an innovating research line of a humanistic nature that which she considers necessary at a time when the future of the planet is at stake. Let me quote her. If we want to communicate successfully about the environmental crisis and create alliances with people all around the world to fight against the loss of biodiversity, climate change, or acidification of oceans, we need to understand and appreciate and embrace those cultural differences. For doctor to get this point of economic development, she has had a major training. She has a long track record. In a slide that you will right now see, I would like to share that she has been a professor and she has shared her knowledge in three universities: at Columbia University, the Stanford University, where I'm a professor too, and the UCLA University. So you may imagine how many generations she has had the possibility to train. In the next slide, I'd like to show the production, the academic production and scientific and cultural historical production of Professor. She's been impressive. And I'd like to make a reference to the one up in the left-hand side. It's local and planet routing. Very frequently, you say that we need to do something for the sake of the planet, but we also need to commit to do something at local level. We must do that transition from to the local, and because the local has got repercussions at global. That teaching, that's a critical aspect that is really well developed in that book that you see up in the left corner. The other one just by that corner, which is Imagining Extinction, that has to do with the phenomena of biases that scientists have had. And many of people have those biases. We are concerned about extinction of major and charismatic and beautiful species, tigers, elephants, etc. That is really important because those species are representative and are appreciated of love for nature. But we have ignored the major amount of species that are threatened. How can you imagine local activity to protect species at the level of their local populations, considering also plants, microorganisms, fungi, which are fundamental for the well-being of ecosystems and the life in our planet? This fact of having a combination, taking data and the perceptions of science and placing them in the cultural environmentalism approach, which is broader and respects and appreciates cultures at the planet level, at the world level, is something that worlds being appreciated and cultivated. It is going to really help us in this major challenge we have to preserve a feasible planet for the future generations. It's a real honor for me to be with all of you this afternoon to make these brief comments about the awardee. And it's really important for this couple between science, culture, arts, and communication, in a broader sense, will allow us to have the hope of a better world. Thank you very much.